Good afternoon. Thank you. I'm Brother Zachary Stevens-Walter, the chaplain for pastoral care here at Community Church, and I welcome you on behalf of our ministry team, our staff, and all of our lay leaders.
Zachary, can you move closer to the microphone?
Sure. Is that better? All right. It is good to be together, both in person and online. Community Church is a multiracial, multicultural, multi-generational congregation with a vision and commitment to build a world grounded in equity and inclusion. With me today is Jerry Brown, our Director of Music, Darnell White, our musician in residence, our talented choir, Reverend Jude Geiger, our Minister for Community Engagement, and Reverend Peggy Clark, our Senior Minister. Community Church is in transition. We have sold our church building and are in the process of finding another in this neighborhood. We are guests here at the Church of the Incarnation in the meantime, for which we are grateful, even if this beautiful space isn't perfectly reflective of our theology. Children are always welcome during worship. Feel free to move around the space or to move back and forth to join programming happening in the loft. The sound of babies crying or children fidgeting is a beautiful part of being in community. Masks are optional but encouraged. We ask that everyone is respectful of each other's decisions and need for personal space. Today's service is part of the This We Believe series, and today's topic is God and prayer. Please rise in body or spirit, and let's sing together our opening hymn, number 38, Morning Has Broken.
Good afternoon. Can you all hear me? Okay. And did you all have a little trouble getting here? I know I did. I think a lot of us did. So I'm grateful that you are here today. We are talking about God and prayer. So I'm nervous. Just going to say it up front. Let's begin with our call to worship. Come and be welcome. Bring your grief and your sadness, bring your joy and your gladness. Come and be welcome. Bring your whole, tired, angry, joyful self. Your young, old, short, fat, gay, straight, bi, trans, pan, able, disabled, white, Latinx, Pan-Asian, Black, gorgeous, glorious self. Come and be welcome. Bring your worries, your resentment, bring your secrets. Bring all of who you are in this moment. Come and be welcome. This is how we worship together. We're going to light our
We light this candle, the flame of our heritage. May it ignite hope in our lives, in our community, and in the world. I invite you to join with me in speaking our unison affirmation. Unto the Church Universal, which is the depository of all ancient wisdom and the school of all modern thought, which recognizes in all prophets a humanity, harmony, in all scriptures a unity, and through all dispensations a continuity, which abjures all that separates and divides and always magnifies humanity.
truth and freedom, justice and love, and
Individual discipline and social duty, and which shall make all persons one beloved community, unto this church and unto all its members, known and unknown, throughout the world, we pledge the allegiance of our hands and our hearts.
Please join me in reciting our land acknowledgement. We are gathered on the unceded land of the Lenape peoples. We acknowledge the Lenape community, their elders, both past and present, as well as future generations. This acknowledgement demonstrates a commitment to beginning the process of working to dismantle the ongoing legacies of settler colonialism. Observing COVID safety and respecting one another's boundaries, please greet your neighbor.
pulling people back together? Never mind.
Oh, no.
Thank you all. Let's all find ourselves a seat. I know you can do it.
That was the motivation we needed for today. Having a moment of silence in Midtown Manhattan while there is a parade of celebration for, I believe, Mexican Americans is a profoundly unique New York moment. Please join with me now in a spirit of prayer and meditation with raucousness outside, celebrating life and a people. Spirit of life, God of many names, Mother of welcome, instill in us a sense of curiosity for the new, for the stranger, for what difference may come our way. Open our hearts to diversity so that our comfort and our loves may fall upon the whole expression of our varied humanity. May the spirit of newness so too lift up our vision so that we come with open eyes and open mind to those who are familiar to us, to the sameness we face every day in work or in school. Teach us not to box in the people that we share our everydays with. May we allow the well-known friend to grow and to change, and may we be welcome when the time comes to shirk off our own old coats and put on new ways and manners and habits and passions. We are ever growing, ever changing, ever learning souls. If love is the spirit of this house, may it guide our minds to more open places when we have fallen for the trap of knowing how things are or must be simply because that's how they were. In every new moment, we are gifted with the opportunity to welcome the new, to welcome the stranger. Sometime that new stranger is not a person or a place, but the next moment. May we be worthy hosts. Amen and blessed be.
Let's sing together number 27 in the gray hymn. Please rise if you are willing and able.
may be seated. Our reading this morning comes from the Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. Create no images of God except the images that God has provided. They are everywhere, in everything. God is change, seed to tree, tree to forest, rain to river, river to sea. Grubs to bees, bees to swarm. From one, many. From many, one. Forever uniting, growing, dissolving, forever changing. The universe is God's self-portrait.
And let's sing number 1029 in your teal hymn. You can stay seated. Relax. Take a load off. I have never had to contend with a Mexican Independence Day parade before. Just want to say it's a first. Long before becoming UU, the question, do you believe in God, was the worst anyone could ever ask me. You might feel similarly. It's a binary question, and I'm not a fan of binary. It's a yes or no question to the nature of the universe. It's like asking, what is the meaning of life? Yes or no? I have no intention of asking or answering that question today, not for you and not for me. I think it's a bad question. It's particularly bad when people are sure they know the answer and then they judge other people if their answer is different. I won't ask the question, and I don't have an answer, and I'm sure if ever anyone comes close to getting an answer to that question, the answer won't be yes or no. The universe, as I understand it, is far more complicated than that. It's profound, with mystery. It's complex, unknown, and unknowable. It's wild and chaotic, with life teeming in the minute and in the magnificent. It's loving. It's violent. It's unpredictable, and I'm not willing to even consider that there's a yes or no question that comes close to apprehending the depth or breadth of what it means to be alive, or in what ways we are alone and in what ways we are not. There are times, though, when I seek people who wrestle with these big questions. Not people who answer them, but people who live into them. Some are scientists, poets, philosophers. A few of my favorites are mystics. Mysticism, in its formal and academic context, is the radical experience of the divine. My master's degree is actually in medieval mysticism, a subject I found tremendous comfort in graduate school, where we otherwise spent our time diagnosing and dissecting God. Courses on reason and doctrine were tempered by poetry written 1,000 years ago by women and men overcome by love. We do have mystics closer to our time period who've had similar experiences. The 20th century writer and spiritual leader Thomas Merton wrote of a conversion experience in Kentucky. He said, "In Louisville, at the corner of 4th and Walnut, in the center of the shopping district, I was suddenly overwhelmed with the realization that I loved all these people, that they were mine and I theirs, that we could not be alien to one another, even though we were total strangers. It was like waking from a dream of separateness. This sense of liberation from an illusory difference was such a relief and such a joy to me that I almost laughed out loud, as if the sorrows and stupidities of the human condition could overwhelm me, now that I realize what we all are. And if only everybody could realize this, but it cannot be explained. There is no way of telling people that they are all walking around shining like the sun." Merton's conversion on 4th and Walnut, now so famous an experience, it's memorialized. Have you ever been to Louisville? There's like a big sign on the corner that says, like, this is the site of Thomas Merton's conversion. Anyway, that kind of experience isn't common, but it's also not entirely unusual. Carol Houselander, a lesser-known 20th century English mystic, had a similar experience. She was riding in an underground train. She writes, "Quite suddenly, I saw with my mind, but as vividly as a wonderful picture, Christ in them all. But I saw more than that. Not only was Christ in every one of them, living in them, dying in them, rejoicing, sorrowing in them, but because he was in them and because they were here, the whole world was here in this underground train. And not only was the whole world at that moment there, not only all the peoples and all the countries of the world, but all those yet to come. I came out into the street and walked for a long time in the crowds. It was the same here on every side and every passerby, Christ." Language is not our friend today. The word God, with or without a capital G, can be cumbersome depending on your personal history. Christ may be more so. These words have history, they have politics. They might be connected with very specific images and understandings. They might be connected to personal trauma, to religious trauma, to deep, unnecessary rejection, pain, longing, and loneliness. Unitarians in particular have been trying to break open our assumptions and connections around the word God from an individual male, white, conscious, all-powerful and present being since the 19th century, but somehow we still default to that, even unconsciously, probably because the image has so saturated our culture, and language just requires more discipline than most of us have time for to break free of it. In response, so many of us say we don't believe in God. We answer no to a binary question. What I think we mean is we don't believe in that particular God, and we haven't had time to give much thought to any of the other ones. Sometimes we find it liberating to hold that same kind of image, but we tweak it a little bit. This time that God is female and she's black. Now things are getting easier, maybe warmer, maybe equally ferocious, but still on our side. That God might even be sexual and lesbian, and now she's really getting interesting. Richard Rohr, the director of the Center for Contemplation and Action, poses the idea that God isn't an individual being, but another name for everything. Everything is connected to everything. We aren't saved alone, but in participation with everything else, in community with people and planet. God is in all things, is all things. The world is both the hiding place and the revelation of God. There is no difference between the sacred and the profane. All life is communion. All life is coherent. Limiting God to a person, a single revelation, makes the world fragmented and small. But the world, the universe, is massive and expanding. The holy, the connection, the foundation for life, the platform for our living is moving, stretching, expanding. And it's the body of God, another name for everything. A man who calls himself Wild Bill Balding goes even further, breaking open the idea that God is the expanding universe. Balding tells us God is a verb, not a noun. He writes, I am who I am. I will be who I will be. Dynamic, seething, active, web of love poured out, given, received, exchanged, one God in vibrant community, always on the move, slipping through our fingers, blowing through the nets we cast, to hold, name, to confine to nouns, to labels, freeze frame, stasis, pinned like a butterfly, solid, cold, controlled, lifeless. I am who I am. I will be who I will be, not pinned down by names, labels, buildings, traditions, or even by nails to wood. I am a verb, not a noun, living, free, exuberant, always on the move. I am who I am. That's what Moses was told. He saw a bush engulfed in flame, but not burning, and he tried to figure out what was going on. Yahweh spoke to him and told him he was being called to liberate those who were enslaved by the Pharaoh in Egypt. Moses, unsure about what was really happening here, asked, who is sending him? And the answer was, I am who I am. Sometimes translated as, I am who is. I am who is, an act of being. And the conversation is an experience, not a belief. That conversation, often called prayer, comes from our center, not always as words, but as laughter or kisses or sobbing. Prayer is primeval, it's primordial. It's our most ancient language, spoken long before we had words. We dance in joy and sorrow and fear. We make wishes, often secret, and howl, often in pairs. And every time we do, we are expressing our deepest desires, our longing for a world we once knew or never knew and can't live without. Prayer is our most authentic expression when we allow it, especially if we don't try to temper it with those pesky binary questions that end in yes or no. Once we move into our minds, seeking images or specifics, wondering to what or to whom we are praying, we have moved from our hearts to our heads, where mystery is uncomfortable and usually unwelcome. I remember a long time ago being told to kneel and pray daily, to say thank you, and to ask for things like help and wisdom. I was told if there were specific things I wanted, I could mention those too, but to be aware that sometimes the answer is no. So I did that. I got on my knees and I talked. It was fine, sometimes helped me get clear about things or made me feel better about something. Sometimes I waited for answers, and I could wait a long time. As I got a little older, I started feeling like this was really just a dysfunctional relationship, with me doing all the talking and some guy in the clouds with all the power. So I started studying religion. I asked a teacher how to pray, and she genuinely didn't understand my question. I wanted her to kind of hand me a stack of papers with all the right words. Then I'd be sure I was doing it all right. And instead, she asked me if I sing, or walk in the woods, or chant. She asked if I dance, which I did often. She asked if I love people, which was also a big yes. So she said she doesn't understand why I'm asking. She said, I think you know how to pray. I thought I'd find some appropriate and accepted posture and start a conversation with magic words and get an answer. What I didn't know is that I didn't need words, and the conversation was going on all around me. All I needed to do was notice. I needed to breathe, to see, to feel, to listen. I don't know the nature of the universe. I don't know the meaning of life. I do know how it feels to stand in a summer rainstorm drenched and laughing. I know how to take off my shoes and feel the grass beneath my feet. I know how to hold a door open for someone and how to thank them when they hold it open for me, how to live into each gift and how to offer gratitude. So look around for yourself. Just outside this door, you're gonna see a great big parade. A lot of people celebrating. You're gonna see giggling children, you're gonna see plumes of exhaust, regal buildings. You'll see people scrounging for food, warm winds, tropical storms, awe and delight. You will see all the things, dreadful and beautiful, more wonderful and terrible than is necessary. Let it strike you speechless with worship and fear. It is everything. And every once in a while, look around to see that everyone, no matter who they are, or what they think, or why they're here, everyone is walking around shining like the sun. Let's sing together Spirit of Life, number 123 in the gray hymnal. Let's stand for this one. In body or in spirit.
You may be seated. Life at Community Church is busy, whether we are online or in person. It is our hope that wherever you are and in whatever way you are comfortable engaging in the mission and ministry of this church, we have provided opportunities for you. Every week for a total of 6 weeks, Reverend Peggy is meeting with members to talk about covenant. Everyone is encouraged to join one of these conversations as a way to begin this year's theme and to start the work of living in covenanted relationship. This week, she will be on Zoom at 7 p.m. on Friday. Please let her know you're coming so she can give you the sign-in information. We have circle suppers in people's homes, and you're invited. Please see me, and I'll send you to the right person to sign you up. Because we don't have our own space right now, those shared meals are important to our community. We hope you'll get involved. We are trying to get contact information from everyone to update our directory. Please help us by filling out a form in person here or online in the members section of the website. We are a 7-day church and have programs running every day of the week. You can find more information in the program and on our website. Our ushers will now pass a plate for our collection. Reverend Jude will pass a plate for our collection. If you are new here, please let the plate go by you with no pressure to give. We are glad for your presence. All gifts offered are accepted in gratitude. Our offertory this morning is Chant for the Seasons, Autumn, number 73.
Please join me in our chalice extinguishing. It is in your program. Knowing how quickly the flame of truth may be extinguished, how easily the chalice of fellowship broken, let us be vigilant in faith, keep peace in our hearts, and make care for one another the watchword of our lives together, so our light goes out everywhere into the world. Our light goes out into the world, bringing healing and hope to all the places it's needed. Let us go in peace to love and serve the world and one another. Good to be with you.
At the edge of the Atlantic, I can bring myself to swim. I choke back the tears of 22 years, drowning in the shadow of him. The waves etched out a pattern long after they're gone. The lines they erase are quickly erased, but something's still lingering on. Lost in the waves, I am lost in the waves. No one but me and the shiny black sea. When you're lost in the waves, a vision in the moonlight. Family on the beach, a boy on his own by the undertow throne, far beyond his father's reach. He's caught in a riptide. A man has to choose. There's a race to be won for the life of his son, but someone has to lose. Lost in the waves, I am lost in the waves. Salt water burns, the tide always turns. When you're lost in the waves. Now I'm the one sinking. There's no solid ground, and I can't help thinking I'm the one who has drowned. Knee deep in the water, I feel my Father's touch. And though fully grown, I've still never known how to love someone that much. Lost in the waves, I am lost in the rain. No one but me and the silent black sea. When you're lost in the waves, when you're lost in the waves, when you're lost in the waves.